What's up, guys? It's Jason. Of course, this is Riley again, and Rigor Mortis Mask, and we're back for another Mask Morgue, right? That's what we're calling this?
That's what
Mask
we're calling
Morgue.
it, yeah.
Okay, yeah. And today, dang. Look, Riley and I are going to arm wrestle right after this, live on camera, for the winner to take this thing home.
And Jason's gonna win because he was.
You're
in
being
our
nice to me. I'm
United
old.
States military, so.
You may break my arm. All right. Anyway, what do we got today, man? What is this? What am I looking at? I know what I'm looking at, but what? Tell the audience what we're looking at.
This is the one and only beautiful quicksand zombie.
Oh, God. Sculpted by Justin Mabry, right?
Mabry.
Now, this right here, you remember where this comes from. This is like, so EC Comics, right? Pre-code comics, which are the raddest comics ever, all right? These are the ones that go way back in the 50s, 60s, and all that good stuff. It had all the creepiest stuff. And this guy the inspiration came from Tales from the Crypt, number 20, what was it, 4?
24, yeah.
Yeah, and that was back in, I think, June 1951.
Yeah, 51.
Right, so this is where the inspiration for this thing came back. And this is, like I said, called the Quicksand Zombie. Now, like I said, I love EC Comics. I love all those old school pre-code comics, and there's a lot of sculptors, not a lot actually, there's a few sculptors out there that are actually creating masks off old cover art.
Yeah, basically off just two-dimensional images, turning them into a three-dimensional mask.
I love it.
Yeah.
Justin's one of them, obviously. Pete from Devil's Workshop does a lot of these as well. I know there's a more out there that's doing it, but this is... I freaking take my money. Everyone who produces these, I gotta buy these things because they're just so freaking rad. And then this one, when you brought this one to me, we were at Mad Monster 2022 Mad Monster here in Phoenix, and you walked up with this, and I'm like, I was getting ready to literally rob you right there. I was just going to go ahead and debo you and take this because I am so in love with this piece, man.
Understandably so. I mean, just look at that thing.
So tell me about it. Tell me about it a little bit.
All right, so this fella was originally a two-dimensional image on the cover of Tales from the Crypt 24, as we mentioned, and it's just a quicksand zombie. I mean, if you can imagine that.
Yeah.
And he's dragging victims to the bottom of his quicksand pit. And
so good. So
his
rad.
Artwork was done by Al Feldstein, who did work for EC Comics, Tales from the Crypt, and went on to do work for Mad Magazine. So if you're a comic nerd, you might recognize that name.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very iconic artwork, and Justin Mabry in 2012 sculpted this fella for Night Owl Productions, which was later released through Trick or Treat Studios. But it was a mass-produced copy. So,
yeah, because like we have here at the shop, we have the Quicksand Zombie, you know, that Trick or Treat Studios puts out, and which is cool, but it's not this cool.
Yeah.
All right, this is above and beyond, man. Because like the hair on ours, it looks rad, and the sculpt's rad, and all that stuff, but it's just kind of free floating and all this stuff. Where this one looks like just comes out the depths of the swamps or whatever, man. So
the hair's probably my favorite touch on this fella.
Well, the sculpt itself is incredible, right?
The sculpt is a given. That's fantastic.
Now, is this the exact same sculpt that's on the Trick or Treat Studios version?
So it is, but the molds are, of course, they have different stamps, and one's wearable and this one's display.
Yeah.
So.
But the detail, guys, in this mask is, it's painstakingly just accurate, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it is, and probably, and then some. Because, like I said, once ago, you look at all these old EC comics, there's tons of wrinkles, a lot of stress, right? And just, where it just looks like these zombies are just gross, and, it gave you, nightmares as a kid.
Yeah.
And Justin, he has nailed this thing. Yeah. But then you nailed it, you said the hair.
Yeah.
And that's the first thing I saw. When you brought this up, and that was the first thing I saw, the way that it's matted, and it just looks like it's been drained, right? Like he rose from the swamps, and holy hell, man.
Yeah, this thing is incredible.
Or wherever quicksand's at. I don't know if it's swamp. Maybe it's desert.
Yeah,
could
be.
No one knows where quicksand's at. Does that even exist? But it looks like he just came out of that, right?
Yeah.
How do you think he did the hair?
So he actually told me how he did the hair. He actually was combing the hair with Mod Podge.
Oh.
And then he had some green paint in there to mimic the moss and whatnot that was growing on him. So it just looks fantastic. It looks like someone threw a water balloon in his face. You know?
It totally.
Yeah.
It has that, and it's down really good, man.
Yeah.
So it's down there well, so it's not going to ever come up and all that stuff. And I like his little chin hair as well, right?
Yes,
So
he added some fabrications with cotton and latex to make it look like swamp tendrils on his chin, I guess you could say.
amazing. And the paint job itself too is incredible, right? So
Yeah.
you have that sand, once again, quicksand zombie, right? First thing you think of is a brown, right? So he went with a nice brown, but then layers and layers of other colors in here. I see greens, I see some blues, I see some other stuff in here, some grays and whatnot. And then of course you even get up toward the teeth and all that stuff, which is awesome. You have some reds in there, but nothing too prominent. It's very subtle. It's very cool looking. And this thing just screams from across the room. This is a piece that you got to go up and look at when you see it.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, and like I said, the fact we're going to arm wrestle and I'm actually hopefully going to win this today. This is amazing, man.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah. And what I love about these kinds of zombies is the best kinds of zombies are the skeletal, rotting, mummified ones. Because I mean, yeah, there's movies like World War Z and stuff like that where they're infected, Train to Busan and stuff like that. But I like my old rotted, skeletal, mummified.
And that's the beauty about EC Comics, right? That's the kind of zombies they always portrayed, right?
Right out of a mausoleum.
Right out of the crypt, you know what I'm saying? And, and even like their grave diggers and all their just like, your Uncle Creepies and everybody in there, they all just had that, I don't know, they had an amazing look to them,
Just
man.
a hag with slobber and
Yes.
long, wispy hair. They're creepy.
And this, like I said, this scene, this brings me back. Now, look, I'm not 50s old, okay? I'm like 70s, 80s old. But I used to read these comics, right? I used to get, they were just stuck in just boxes in my basement or whatnot, and I would pick them out and I was just like you see the kid on Creepshow, just like looking at the comics,
right on
and
the poster,
that was me as a kid. And then now to see that amazing sculptors like Justin Mabry out there that can actually produce stuff like this, this is incredible. And like I said, and being an amateur sculptor myself, and I'm really amateur. I'm like it's bad, right? But it's I know the process, and this I can only imagine how long this took them, because I mean every square centimeter on this thing has detail in it, and which is super rad, man.
Awesome texture,
Yeah, great texture, and like I said, and the hair work is phenomenal. So great piece, man. Okay, I always say we price things, man. So if this thing we popped this on eBay tonight. Okay? I know, once again, I always say this, and he gets like sad. He starts tearing up, like, I don't want to sell this stuff. We're not going to sell it. But if this popped up on eBay, what do you think this would run, man?
So on his Night Owl websites, I think he used to charge about, I can't remember if it was like 200 or 300 for one of these fellows.
Yeah.
But aftermarket on these, since he's no longer doing the Night Owl website, I mean, they're going to become a little more scarce because conventions only happen once every year.
Yeah, here in Arizona. I mean, they're all, but he doesn't. Justin Mabry is not like he's not bouncing every convention. The guy's got a job.
Mask Fest and Monster Palooza are usually his only ones that he does.
Yeah,
so.
and we got lucky for him to come to Phoenix for Mad Monster, and I think that was a last minute thing as well. Talking to him, they asked him to come, which is rad, because I have another piece from that I will show you down the line.
We will show this one. It has to be seen.
From Justin. But this one right here, man, if you didn't grab this, I was definitely throwing money at this guy. So, so you're thinking about 300, 400?
I'd say roughly 3. Yeah, but I mean, just having these pieces, I mean, you can't let them go, because I mean, each piece by Mabry has its own touch. Each one has a different paint job, so it's hard to let go of one with this fantastic of a finish,
Yeah.
But
they're amazing.
fairly priced,
Worth every penny.
Oh, absolutely.
If you're a mass junkie like myself and like Riley here, having this in your collection, it's like I said, people walk by and they're just like, what?
It's eye candy.
Hold up. Wait, what?
Yeah.
And then the cameras come out, pictures get taken, this thing. Yeah. So pretty rad, man. All right, look, if you want to see more of this stuff, you got to go to Riley's Instagram page. It's Rigor Mortis Masks, and which he'll show some detailed pictures of this stuff and all this stuff, and then all the other freaking masks this guy has, right? And I keep telling him to bring in, and trying to get him to sell me, but he won't. But anyway, so another great piece by Justin Mabry, another good EC Comics, pre-code horror comics, example of what it could be done. So if you're out there, you're a mask maker, you're a sculptor, that's your inspiration. That's where you need to go.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, if you want my money, that's where you need to go. So
if you want our hearts, then you have to make stuff like this.
that's it. I'll take it all. I'll take it all. So there you guys go. There's another mask morgue done, and we will now close the crypt doors as I sink into quicksand.